Even if I wanted to, I can't help you, Jadani. The High Table wants your life. How can you fight the wind? How can you smash the mountains? How can you bury the ocean? How can you escape from the light? Of course, you can go to the dark, but they're in the dark too. So tell me, Jadani, what do you really want?
Welcome to Extra Butter! John Wick is back. He's got a special set of skills and oh wait, that's the wrong movie. John Wick is back. He's still avenging the loss of his dog, and Keanu Reeves opens up a can of it like never before. Hey, Dennis Quaid has a dog too. His dogs typically live a little bit longer. Yes, we'll be talking about a dog's journey. And also, if your family doesn't need a new pet, but wants some gear-shattering, ground-pounding WWE action, how about this movie featuring the true story of how Paige came to be? We'll be talking about that and more on this edition of Extra Butter! It's a show where we get together and talk about movies pretty much the way you talk about movies. Look, it's Kelly Savannah Deaton. It's Deanna Houston.
Hello.
What'd you guys just see?
Detective Pikachu.
I know, because we were in the same auditorium. The nice thing about Detective Pikachu, you can see it 5 times and your friends still haven't seen Avengers 1 time. Hey guys!
How's it going?
All right, good. Before we get going, let's get to know everybody over here.
Deanna Houston, and I like to talk about restaurant etiquette and movies.
Where do we find you?
At Miss Purple Rain.
All right, here.
And I'm Kelly Savannah Deaton, and I just like to talk, period.
Yeah.
And travel, and write, and do all the things.
Got it.
And you can find me at Kelly Savannah Deaton.
And comments, questions, concerns, jump in right there at TV Market Sound. Also, check out our YouTube page. It is Extra Butter, or on Facebook, Extra Butter TV. I would be remiss if I didn't bring up YouTube extraordinaire Maria Gloria. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Reason we have to have you on the show, even though you're currently doing better things like your YouTube channel, you had a chance to sit down with the entire cast of Detective Pikachu, and it crushed it at the box office. You saw this coming. Why?
Because of the all-star audience mark. I mean, Ryan Reynolds not only feeds the adult audience, I mean, as we all know, but he nailed it with the children in this movie. Everybody's going to get a kick out of it. My 5-year-old loved it. My 27-year-old boyfriend loved it. My mom loved it. Everybody's going to love this movie.
So, Maria, I noticed you called like 6 months out and said you wanted to be attached to this movie because you were such a fan. How did you not curl up in fetal position when suddenly you're in front of Ryan Reynolds to talk to him about it?
Right.
Because I was trained by you to stay calm.
I trained you not at all.
He's never calm.
I didn't even tell you where to go.
I mean, honestly, it was really easy. I mean, walking in, it was a really cool icebreaker. Like, he was just stretching his back because he was hurting, and then he made fun of my restless legs, and I made fun of his back. It was fine.
Got it. And I know you talked to him about your daughter. How did the interview go?
It went really well. We talked about how he just loved being stuffed into this little yellow dude.
That's exactly what he said. Take a look.
Literally what he said.
What was your favorite part of making this film?
My favorite part was, I mean, I love motion capture work, so like, I think one of the most interesting things that happened was they putting my face into Pikachu.
Yeah.
Which, 5 years ago is kind of a cool technology, but now it's like so sophisticated that they're getting micro facial expressions. So for me, the first time I saw it fully mapped onto Pikachu was actually disturbing because it felt like my soul had been kind of pulled out of my body and shoved into this little tiny yellow.
Yeah, we posted that on our YouTube page, and like a bunch of people commented and said, way to go, Maria. I know a lot of your YouTube viewers came over to our YouTube page to tell you congratulations on your interview. And I'd like to back them up and say, way to go, Maria Gloria.
Yay!
So in summary, what would you tell people who didn't go see it this weekend, though most people did?
Go watch it. Literally, just go watch it. Believe the hype, because the hype is real. I know some movies are really overhyped, especially children's movies. This is a really good movie for the entire family. I'm telling you, your boyfriend will love it, your mom will love it, you will love it, your kid will love it, your niece, your nephew, anybody. Go watch this movie. It's incredible. You're gonna feel it in your jellies.
All right, big round of applause. Where do we find you on YouTube when you're not here?
Maria Gloria with 2 A's.
There you go. Big round of applause, Maria Gloria. Hey, thanks for hanging out. What are you talking about today on your YouTube channel?
Oh, how to keep your skin nice and hydrated this summer.
Got it. And I'm guessing drinking massive amounts of Diet Coke is not the answer?
No, not at all. Water.
Okay.
Water.
All right, good point. Well, we miss you. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you, Gloria.
Bye. Love
Love you.
Great job.
Bye-bye. And what did you guys think of it?
This is a good movie. It has a solid plot. Even if you take out the Pokemon aspect, it
Right.
still plays as like a good detective story.
Yes.
So either way, like she said, she nailed it. Everybody's gonna want to see this.
Definitely not even huge on Pikachu, but I will say that I enjoyed it. Like you said, the storyline behind it was really good. So.
Yeah, I'll back you up on that. I'm not big into
Yeah.
Pokemon. The
No.
first time around, I was too old for it. This time around for it, still too old for it. Even my kids were too old for it. But I really enjoyed this movie. I think you will too if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
All right, if you have kids, you really need to take them to go see John Wick 3. Am I right?
Yes, of
Absolutely.
course. Yeah, put them in karate, then have
Yes,
them take
yes.
them to this movie. It'll be perfect.
Oh, please don't listen to a word we just said. Don't take the kids to it, but you should go see it, grown-ups. I'll tell you why you're going to enjoy this John Wick the most when Extra Butter returns. Hey, welcome back. It is Extra Butter. Movies are starting to get really, really good. Kelly, Savannah Deaton, as always, and the lovely and talented Deanna Houston. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. All right, so I want to talk about John Wick 3. I find this to be the best of all the John Wicks. Bigger and better. This character has finally landed into the sweet spot.
I like this third one the best too because we get to see behind the scenes a little bit more, and it opens up
Oh,
that
yeah.
entire world of these secret assassins. It kind of showed you a little bit in the previous two films, but this one, he is back and he is ready. And Keanu, you can't beat him. He was made for this role.
I want to remove myself from the conversation a little bit because I'm biased. I am of the original Keanu Reeves generation. We're the same age. I want to ask you guys, how is Keanu Reeves doing as an actor? Does he still have it?
When has he never
Yeah, he
not
never-
had it?
yeah, he's never
he's
lost
never
it.
lost it. He still has it. What is he, 53, 54 now? And he does
yeah.
all his own action.
Right.
He does everything he needs to do. He preps for everything.
And he's a nice guy on top of all of it.
He's such a nice guy. Did you guys hear about that flight that had to make an emergency landing?
In
'Cause
Bakersfield.
The engine was failing, and so he stood up and kind of rallied the passengers,
Oh, wow.
calmed them down.
Yeah.
He calmed them down so much that one passenger turned to his friend and said, "It's okay. Keanu Reeves is on the plane.
Right.
We're gonna be okay."
John Wick is right.
Yeah. Then he organized a caravan, like vans, to get
And a
them
bus.
to. And then he took them to Carl's Jr. and he posed for photos. Like, what star does that?
Anybody else would probably had called their agent to get a chopper sent over to
Yeah,
fly him
right.
over the hill to LA. This guy
He
charters a
said-
bus
yeah.
and says, "You guys come with me."
Yeah,
Hey, you
so
guys wanna
nice.
let's go get a burger. Who wants a burger?
He's so nice. Like, no one else is approachable like that, I think.
All right, one of the first times I talked to him about the rebirth of his career, because there was a bit of a lull between Bill and Ted and by the time the Matrix explosion happened.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to him about the Matrix, and I'm trying to get him to say something kind of flippant. Like, I'm not trying to get him to,
Oh, no, Mark.
roast someone, but I was
no.
trying to get him in that
This
area.
doesn't sound good.
And he wouldn't do it. And he wouldn't even touch the bait. Joey Pants, his co-star, would. This was on the set in Australia of the original Matrix. Take a look.
If this were true, if life were just one big program that we get from Microsoft or who knows where, and you could actually go in and sort of tweak your own life just to make it just a little bit better, or add something or delete something, aside from this interview right now, Keanu, what would you delete or add to your life?
Oh, delete. You see, that's a dangerous question. I can't answer that flippantly.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, how about you?
I can.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to be Monica Lewinsky.
And why is that? What would you do if you were Monica Lewinsky? Where would you take it from here?
I'd take that dress to the Smithsonian and get a couple of million, that's what.
Yeah, in case you guys don't know, Monica Lewinsky, she was involved in a scandal with President Clinton back in the day.
Okay.
Anybody?
Mark, we know.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
I don't want to assume.
I did not have sexual intercourse. We
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
We know the story. We
Sexual
know the story. That was
relations.
my impression. You do a better one. It's not my best, but okay.
I categorically denied that being an impression of me at all.
See, there you go.
Yeah,
He's
he
better
was
at
right,
it.
yeah.
I'm better at Hillary. What? No, I'm just.
All right. Hey, so you guys, were you a fan of the original John Wick? Forgot
Yes,
to ask.
yes, I like that
yes.
movie.
With that, I think we're all agreed that he brought pretty much nothing we hadn't seen him do before. All of the Matrix skills were
A
involved.
lot of the same badassery.
Right.
correct?
However, with John Wick 2, suddenly he can drive like a bat out of hell.
Yep.
How did this happen? We talked. Take a look.
I love the driving sequences. I think every dude from the age we start playing with Hot Wheel cars would hope to have those cars in real life.
Right.
Favorite scene?
My favorite scene in the film or favorite
Driving.
car scene? You know, I got to do this kind of coming around some pillars and do like this 180 drift in the water. That was kind of fun. You see the door knocked off, the cars off, and I'm there.
Right.
And then I actually like the moment where I'm going backwards driving into another car because I didn't think they'd let me do that, but they actually put me in an automobile and went 25 miles an hour into another car.
I noticed all of these interviews are from the past. They're old. So did you not get the junket invite for John Wick 3? You know, the current movie we're reviewing right now?
Since you're calling me out on it, I was on vacation right when that rolled around. I needed some time off.
Time off from Keanu?
Right.
What the heck?
The man?
The man.
I
the
do
myth,
have
the legend.
Look, I'm getting to it, and I do have some fresh Halle Berry, courtesy of the guy that's currently right there operating that camera guy too. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Julian. Where were you?
Las Vegas for CinemaCon.
You caught up with Halle Berry.
Yeah. They said you're gonna interview for John Wick. I was like, cool, Keanu Reeves. They're like, no, Halle Berry. I was like, oh.
Even better. If you can't have Keanu, Halle Berry is even better.
And the director guy.
And the director, yeah.
What'd you guys talk about?
Well, you had to bring it up because it's the director's third. Halle Berry's a newcomer, so they really had to amp it up for this movie.
All right, let's take a look.
John Wick 3, you're coming into it, and now is the expectation higher, working knowing he's done 2 already?
I think it's all, I don't know, I think it would all be higher. You know, 3s are really hard, but unfortunately.
Raise expectations, raise goals. Yeah, I just want to be a good enough director for my cast. That's what
Well, he is. He's amazing. I think because I didn't do it, I have a small part in it, but he did it. He definitely raised the bar this 3rd time, and I think that's really hard to do. You know, how do you top 1? Well, he made 2. How do you top 2? Well, he did 3. He actually did it. This is such an amazing movie. It's beautiful. It continues sort of the story in a really exciting way. I don't think anybody will be disappointed.
How amazing does Halle Berry look in person?
Yeah. Stunning. I could not believe. I was like almost jaw dropped.
You were jaw dropped.
Right.
You were drooling.
A big round of applause. Camera 2 today. It's Julian. Nice job, Julian. Excellent work. Here and there and everywhere.
How amazing is Halle Berry, though? For real.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't age.
Nope.
She signed on to do this movie,
Right.
and she was training for 2 months before she even got her pages of the script. That's how much faith she had in this franchise.
Keanu Reeves is awesome in this. If you haven't seen John Wick, I highly recommend going to see it. It opens this weekend in theaters everywhere.
Go see it on the big screen, too.
Yes.
Don't wait for it. Run to go see it,
yes.
because nothing is better than Keanu in this role.
Do they need to see 1 and 2 before they see this?
You probably should, just to get an idea of what's going on.
You got to get the vibe of
Yes.
Keanu in this, the vibe.
Definitely 1, but don't have your pets around when it plays because it can be kind of brutal during the heat.
Oh, you mean where the dog dies? That's so sad.
Oh, hey, that's a great segue. Speaking of dogs dying, you know what's going to happen in a dog's. Is that a horrible segue?
No, we'll go with it.
Just go with it. A dog's journey is about that, and yes, indeed, you are going to laugh, and you are going to cry, and cry a little bit more, but it's worth it. We'll talk with Dennis Quaid and the stars next. Hey, Mark Willis, that's not keto friendly. Trying to do that no carb thing, I think you're barking up the wrong tree there. Hey, see what I did? Barking up the wrong tree. Welcome back. It is Extra Butter, where we talk about movies kind of the way you talk about movies with your friends. Steona Houston, Kelly Savannah Deaton, Marcus Sound. Be sure to check us out on YouTube at Extra Butter and Facebook Extra Butter TV. A Dog's Journey. Do you have a dog?
I do not have a dog.
Did you ever have a dog?
I did, and then when he died, I cried.
Aww.
This movie has a built-in audience. People, you know, there's those people, friends of friends, that let their dogs lick them on the mouth, and they're okay with it. They're going to be ready when this movie comes out. They're going to be ready to go see it.
Hey, big round of applause to Universal Pictures. They actually donated money nationwide to SPCAs to rescue some dogs. I know just where I live, 15 dogs got rescued courtesy of the Dog's Journey. So shout out, nice work with that.
Good job.
I even posted on my social media. I too got licked in the face for that.
Not by Dennis Quaid, right?
No, but speaking of that, is that going to be odd? People that have just seen him like last weekend in The Intruder, they go to see him in this movie?
I was just telling Kelly, I was like, it's so weird seeing him in this movie because the last image of him that I have is him being creepy stalker man in a movie, so this one is completely
Without
different.
plot spoiling, tell people the scene in question in The Intruder.
Without plot. Well, he's just a creep, and he's like trying to lick Megan Good,
Yeah.
and she doesn't want him to lick her,
Not at
and
all.
he has like sharp, pointy licking tongue. Ugh. It's just not.
And he like goes up to her and goes like that at one point.
Ew.
You know-
Maybe he thought he was a dog. Maybe like that. He was prepping for
Oh,
the
maybe
next-
working on this movie.
Yeah,
trying to-
yeah.
I didn't have the pleasure of talking about that, but I did announce to him that The Intruder was doing quite well while talking about this movie. Take a look.
I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. Deion Taylor is one of my top 5 best friends on the planet.
Oh, really?
You've
No
got
kidding.
something to celebrate.
God, he's the greatest.
You're celebrating being one of the kindest people on the big screen opening right now, and at the same time, one of the greatest monsters ever made. How does that feel?
Oh, that was a lot of fun.
Really,
Deion's
monster?
such
I
a
gotta
great-
see this
he's
movie.
A great director, and we just had so much fun doing it. I mean, the more evil we got on that, the more we just howled with laughter. to tell you the truth. Yeah.
And albeit with the exception of superheroes, you're #1 at the box office right now.
Wow, am I?
Yeah.
No kidding.
You're crushing it.
Hey, congrats.
All right, that's the first news I've heard of that.
Yes, congratulations, Intruder, over at $21 million at the box office.
impressive.
Nice work there.
And it was a great movie.
All right. Now you probably wonder, is that all you talked to him about?
No, I think you have a little bit more up your sleeve. It
Yeah.
worries me though, but I'm ready for it.
I did. Dating back to the dawn of sound pictures, people have been saying, never work with kids, never work with animals.
Right.
W.C. Fields said that. I brought it up.
You know it's coming. You know inevitably in this film it's going to happen. But about halfway through the movie, you hear everyone at the same time, and then the laughter comes back.
Yeah, that's because they all come. Everybody comes with their own relationships with their dogs to this film, and that's what they bring to it, and that's what they see and relate to.
Absolutely. You know, W.C. Field and a long list of other people have said, never work with kids, never work with animals. You get a little bit of both with this movie.
W.C. Fields had a kid and a dog in every movie he did.
Right. Yeah, there's that.
They were always right there.
Yes, you
I
could
think
have
it
his
was
one-liners.
Kidding around
so-
about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gave him a foil to play
yeah.
off of.
I mean, you know, one thing because we had plenty of scenes with both a toddler and a dog, and it kept you on your toes, you know.
I like them as a couple. Don't you buy that they're a couple that have been together?
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely not a stalker-like couple.
It's very genuine, and I think that's hard to convey unless you really like the other person.
Sure. Now, A Dog's Journey is specifically kind of a dog's journey throughout this one family. Their granddaughter is played by Catherine. Catherine and Henry end up becoming a romantic interest in this, and I talked to him about that.
Is there a favorite scene in this movie that, looking back on it, 20 movies from now, you look back and you go, man, we had fun making this one scene?
There's this one scene I remember when I get into my apartment and you come.
With the boxes?
Yeah, and we're just sitting on in my new apartment on the floor, and there's like how many dogs were there?
Like five? Yeah.
5 dogs of all different breeds.
Yeah. Right.
And there's this one dog. His name is Gary. He's ginormous. He's
Irish Wolfhound.
He's huge. And it was just we're just doing our scene, and then we have this big dog just going around
Yeah.
everywhere.
And that was the day we had ice cream on set that day
Oh,
as well,
yes.
I think.
Oh,
That was a
remember that
great
ice cream.
day.
Yes.
I got to walk 5 of them at the same time on one day. That was a really fun
Fun scene, too.
Yeah.
Wow, ice cream on the set and a giant dog named Gary, and you
Yeah.
call this work?
Dogs are the best part of the movie. For someone who doesn't traditionally like dog movies, do you think they'll like this movie?
This movie's a feel-good movie, not to sound cliche, but it is. You leave the theater feeling happy. So if you want to feel good about seeing a movie, you can go see this.
I agree. I'm just gonna say go ahead and see it, whether you have a dog or not, but just bring your tissue.
Whether your family has a dog or not, but they like some gear-shattering, ground-pounding wrestling action. Coming up in a moment, the true story of how Paige became Paige. Hey, welcome back. It is Extra Butter. Hope you're having a good one. This is where we talk about movies that you can get at home, despite the fact that we're in a swanky movie theater right now.
Theater.
But perhaps you have a beautiful home. Want to watch something at home this weekend? Liam Neeson is back, and he has a special set of skills.
He does. Okay, I say automatically buy any Liam Neeson movie because he's always in the best action movies, and anytime someone's like, what should we watch? Why not Liam Neeson?
I noticed that I said he has a special set of skills. Neither of you jumped in to say, hey, this isn't a Taken movie. Point is, it doesn't matter because every Liam Neeson movie is kind of a Taken movie.
It
in
is.
this movie, his son has had something that happened to him.
Yep.
I'm not going to say what, and he's out for vengeance. We talked about pretty much filming in Denver. Take a look.
Good to see you again.
You too, Mark.
I know in talking to you about working on The Gray, both you and Joe Carnahan talked about how grueling the snow was. You never said I'd never work in snow again, but you did say it was a bit of misery that bound you together.
Yeah.
This
was.
too?
I think so, yeah. And it's always the other character in any film that's set in the wilderness is the wilderness itself, you know?
What I love in this movie that I didn't expect was the humor.
Michael Schamberg, our producer, said, I want you to watch this.
I just didn't know what I was seeing. I wanted to giggle, I wanted to laugh, but I thought, no, these guys are serious mother effers of actors, and I just wanted to giggle. And afterwards, as Michael said, you should have, you did. That's the whole point, you know.
And what you can get at home this weekend. Also, if you're a fan of WWE or not, you are going to love Fighting with My Family. It's the true story about how WWE diva Paige became Paige.
Sorry, what is the WWE?
What? I love this movie. I like wrestling. I don't love it as much as some people, but I like it. And I thought this movie was great, and I think everyone is going to wrap themselves around this movie. Stephen Merchant, you might know because he's the guy that created The Office, which is why this movie is wicked sharp in the writing. I talked with him about how it might put you in a certain duress if you have to give direction to somebody that could snap your neck like a twig. Take a look.
I felt an obligation to her family, to her, to just tell this story and do it justice.
And you've seen her in the ring. You don't want to her off.
Yeah. And I've met her family, and I mean, these are long legs they could easily break.
Especially my dad. He's like, you better get this wrong.
Speaking of which, so we only know you from the public side and the performance side, that is. With this, we get a very intimate glimpse into what was going on.
Right, exactly.
And how accurate is it?
Oh, I mean, it's pretty spot on. Obviously, you have to put a little bit of twist in there just for the Hollywood side of things, but I would say like 95% of it is the stories that I told Stephen, and he would contact me every other day because he was very hands-on when it came to the script. He was like, I just want to know exactly how you felt, exactly who you were speaking to, exactly like, you know, just everything about it.
The movie's charming, it's fun, I highly recommend it. Hey, keep this conversation going. Follow us on Facebook, it is Extra Butter TV. On YouTube, it's Extra Butter to catch stuff that you may have missed. Fiona Houston, where do we find you?
You can find me at Miss Purple Rain.
Kelly?
Kelly Savannah Deaton, easy.
Find me, TV Marquez Allen. Have yourself a good one. Get you some extra butter on you. Yep.